Right, this is an introduction to paper 2 question 4. So in this video we're just going to have a look at the question itself, take you through the things that the question is asking you to do, and have a quick look at the mark scheme, and then in the next video I'll take you through the two texts, which will be the same ones that I worked on when I was looking at question 2 for this paper. You can see I've already highlighted a few things ready to go through it. But first of all, let's have a look at the question. So, question 4, refer to source A and source B. So you're looking at both texts and you're looking at the whole of the text as well for this question, usually. And it says, compare how the writers present their different perspectives of the national railway disasters they describe. In your answer, you should compare their different perspectives, compare the methods they use to convey their attitudes, and support your ideas with quotations from both texts. Okay, so, you know, for this one, you could be thinking, because the skill they're looking for is compare, you should be really thinking, you know, about the work you've done with poetry and how you've looked at two different texts and two different poems and the different ideas and messages that the poets are trying to get across, and think about how you've analysed how they get across their different ideas in the two different poems, and just be familiar with that idea and think to yourself, okay, well, yes, I can compare because I've done it with poetry, because really it's the same thing. They're just slightly different style of texts. Okay, so I'm going to highlight that word compare because it's important. How the writers present their different perspectives on the national rail disasters they describe. Okay, the focus of the question will always be different. You'll never know what it is they're going to ask you to focus on, so make sure you highlight that and you keep it in your head. In your answer you should, so I'm going to change that to must. Okay, compare their different perspectives. So that means you're looking at the different ideas and sort of attitudes and perspectives that these writers present in these two texts. And you're going to talk about what's different. Mostly, there could be some opportunities to talk about what's similar, but mostly you're going to be talking about the different perspectives they present. Compare the methods that they use. Now, methods means language techniques, okay, just to be clear about that. Now, you've already answered a question on language for question 3, so you've probably already picked out a couple of things that you can reuse for this question. So whatever you've written for question 3, don't discard it. Go back and have a look at question 3 and then think to yourself, oh yes, well I can write about that language technique here. I can talk about that word or phrase. And that's the other good thing to mention here. It's not only language techniques like your similes, your metaphors, your adverbs, sorry, I didn't mean to say adverbs then, your metaphors, your similes, your, I don't know, hyperbole, your factual language. It's also about talking about words and phrases as well. And that's where you will bring in sort of your subject terminology to describe, you know, the types of words that you use, adverbs, verbs, powerful verbs, adjectives, vivid adjectives, nouns, all of those sorts of things, powerful and effective words that are used. And also sentence forms. You know, short sentences, exclamatory sentences, more complex sentences, clauses that are perhaps used for particular impact. So don't forget you can write about sentence forms as well. And it's how they use those techniques to convey their attitudes. So you're going to be analysing the different techniques that they've used and talking about how they've created effects on the reader and how they've conveyed the attitude of the writer. And then always support your ideas with quotations from both texts. Okay, so the final thing to say is it's 16 marks, this question. So you should really allow yourself about 30 minutes to answer this question. I think that's right, yeah. So 30 minutes because you've done 15 minutes on question 3, 10 minutes on question 2, and then maybe, you know, 5 minutes on question 1, and then you've got 30 minutes left because it's an hour and 45 minutes this paper, so about 30 minutes on this question, so you've got plenty of time, and so they are expecting quite an extended response for this one, for question 4. Okay, so just finally let's have a quick look at the mark scheme then. What are they looking for? So this is for question 4. So if we look at level 3, again it's that clear and relevant They're the key words. So it shows a clear understanding of similarities and differences between the ideas and perspectives. So what's similar in the ideas, what's different? And as I said before, mostly you're going to be looking for differences in the ideas of the writers that they present. So compare ideas and perspectives in a clear and relevant way. So are the things you're saying, do they make sense? Is it clearly evidenced in the text that those are the difference in the perspectives and the ideas? Explains clearly how methods are used to convey ideas and perspectives. And it's perhaps important to mention here that you're not necessarily comparing the methods they use. They may use the same methods, but they may be creating different perspectives or conveying different ideas through the use of those methods, those language techniques and words and phrases. And then finally, selects relevant quotations to support from both texts. So again, you've got to make sure that your quotations are chosen wisely, that they're quotations that really support the point that you're making. And then again, if you want to move up into level 4, it's that detailed and perceptive. Shows a detailed understanding of the similarities and differences between the ideas and perspectives. Compares ideas and perspectives in a perceptive way. I know we struggle with that word sometimes, but hopefully I might be able to show you some perceptive differences in the ideas and perspectives that the writers present. Analyzes. So there's another key word, analyzes. How methods are used. So you've really got to pull apart the different techniques and words that you pick out and phrases. You've got to pull them apart and sort of really analyze exactly what effect they're having and how and what they're conveying specifically to the reader in terms of thoughts, feelings, ideas. And I'll show you how to do that as well when we get up to the next video. And selects the judicious reins, well chosen, aptly chosen. They really support what it is you're saying, the points you're making. Okay, so that's the mark scheme. That's the question. So if you go to the next video for paper 2 question 4, I'll take you through the texts and see what we can find there.